morning, everyone. You're watching India Ventures presents The Startup Grid, where we interview young entrepreneurs from in and around India. So today we have with us Mr. Ankur Agarwal, who has recently founded a preschool that's one of its kind. Mr. Agarwal, we welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, Mahima. It's an absolute pleasure being here.
So we'll start with the questions. So my first question will be, when and where did you find your first venture?
So we started building the school around October of 2018, and we had a first day of school on 1st April this year.
Okay, that's great.
We started it in Calcutta.
So, Mr. Ankur, please tell us something about your entrepreneurship venture.
So ours is primarily a preschool. So that means we work with children between the ages of 18 months to 5 years in the morning. Alongside, we run an enrichment program for children over 4 years of age in the evening.
Okay.
And in doing our work with them, we create a lot of expertise and develop a lot of content which we know is of a lot of value to everyone around. So every once in a while, we try and go out and share that with NGOs. So that's another part of our work.
Okay, so how did you come up with the idea of starting a preschool in the first place?
Right. So when I was in college, there is always a lot of debates and a lot of discussions in college, and people sit together and talk about different things. My friend group always used to discuss a lot about education.
Okay.
And all of the efforts that we saw in college were towards improving tertiary education, or at best secondary education.
Okay.
So people wanted better colleges and people wanted better high schools. But it was our experience in college that a lot of the problems people face in high school or their colleges are not born in colleges as much as they surface at the college level. And you can relate to that, I'm sure.
Definitely.
So, and like if you look around, if you read, you'll figure out, and that's what I did. Like when I read, I figured out that almost everyone around the world believes that the basis of a good grown-up adult is a good preschool education. Like that's where the foundation is set, and that's where everything changes. And in India, there was absolutely no conversation on changing preschool education. Everyone wanted better colleges, no one wanted better preschools. And so it wasn't as much a fascination with starting a business as much as we wanted preschools to really change. And that's why we thought like something has to be done about it.
Okay, so now we'll take a break. So keep on watching the show. We'll be back with a short break.
Audio Jungle.
9 to 5 job, अरे 5 to 9 job, भाग दौड़ all the time job. The roaming wala job, the deadline wala job, or are you living in the market wala job?
Life is full of options. Choose a job and earn on your own terms. Choose to become an LIC agent. It's more than a job. It's career insurance. Be your own boss. Be an LIC agent. अब life set है.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Welcome to the show again. We continue with the questions. So, did you face any challenges while starting up the venture? Like, if yes, then what were the challenges that you faced?
So challenges are a part of any entrepreneurship venture. Like if you're not facing challenges, then you're probably not doing any work. We faced, like if I were to tell you the biggest ones on my head, I think there were two primary challenges which come to my mind. One was putting together a good team.
Yeah.
So you can build a good infrastructure with money, you can buy a lot of equipment, everything else is doable. People is where it breaks down because you need trained human resource. If you don't have good teachers, then all you have is just a room with bricks and some toys. So putting together a team was and still remains a big challenge. So one reason why we're not scaling up really fast is a good team.
Okay.
Another challenge was building a market. So there exists a preschooling market in Calcutta, but there doesn't exist a progressive preschool market. Like parents here want a very rigid pen and paper system of teaching. There aren't progressive parents in Calcutta. So our job is not just going out there and finding a parent that wants our school. Our job is creating a parent that wants our school.
Like the stereotypical Indian education system.
Yeah, exactly. So we have to get them out of their mindset that
Okay.
alphabet and numbers are the be all and end of learning, and we have to make them buy into the idea that physical development, social emotional development, creative development are all things which happen and are necessary for a 2-year-old.
Okay, so like according to you, what are the key factors that one needs to keep in mind while building a startup business?
Right. So there are many important things which you need to keep in mind. In fact, it's very similar to what any organization needs to keep in mind. So without a coherent vision, mission, and a philosophy, any organization is empty. Because I am sure, like, let's say you all are discussing about which show to put on the table or who to call, and often there are multiple people you want to call, then the decision falls on what are you trying to do with the show and what is your mission with the show, and that is how you take a call. It's very similar for any startup that when you run into a conflict, you want to be able to have that compass, which is your very well defined vision and mission that tells you, okay, this is what we are going to do. So having a very well defined vision, mission, and philosophy. Second is you need to have lean and very well managed finances. So it's very easy to pile up huge costs and then be very good at what you do, but then it breaks apart very fast. Like government changes one regulation here and there, you meet an arbitrary projection here and there, and you're not able to sustain your organization at all, and it falls apart. So that is another huge challenge. Marketing is always a huge, huge challenge, and India is a market that's particularly unpredictable. Like
Definitely.
you don't know where customers go, and especially when you're starting out, you're not really experts in education also, like experts in marketing also. And what happens is marketing expenses are huge. Like you can't buy out TV slots. It's not easy to get an
Yeah.
interview. It's not easy to book a radio spot. And the means which are easy are mostly wasted costs. Like they won't give you a lot of results. So either you innovate very well in marketing, or you have a very strong pocket
Or via
to be
social
able to do it.
media,
Or
maybe.
even social media, like your creatives need to be strong. Like social media is flooding you with ads every day. How do you decide this ad is worth your time
Yeah.
and this isn't?
Yeah.
So it's another huge challenge.
So do you earn a satisfactory amount of revenue per month out of the preschool?
Right. So yeah, that's the important question. So it would depend on how you define what is satisfactory. So for us, we're a 6-month-old organization,
Okay.
and we had a projection that at the end of 6 months, if we are here, we would be okay, like
In a good position.
like we can sustain.
Okay.
So we are not too far off that projection, but we have not broken even still. So still now we are spending from our pockets. We are not making money, we are spending money,
Okay.
but it's on track. We are not too far behind.
So my last question would be, what message do you want to give to the young entrepreneurs out there in India if they want to start up a venture?
Right, okay. It's a loaded question, and sure. So what I would say is, there isn't a feeling in this world which is as ecstatic as the feeling of having created something that changes lives for the better. And like anyone that goes on to create a startup venture, I think that's one of the biggest drives that does drive them. So that's one. Second is something which I heard Jim Carrey talking about regarding his father. So he had said that his father essentially taught him that you can very well fail at doing something you don't really like. So you might as well take a chance at failing while doing something you really love. And failure is inevitable. You will fail. But what's even worse is like, and failing is not bad at all. Failing is essential. Like you
Yeah.
cannot succeed without failing. Like show me one person who's successful, and you would be seeing a person who's failed multiple
Yeah.
times. But what is absolutely worse is having had an idea and never worked on it, and then feeling that regret through the rest of your life that okay, maybe it would have worked
Yeah.
out. I should have taken a shot. And another thing is, whatever you end up doing, there will always be people who will absolutely love what you're doing. There will always be people who absolutely hate what you're doing. And there will be people who absolutely don't care about who you are or what you're doing. You don't do it for the people who don't care. You don't do it for the people who are against you and who don't like it. You do it for yourself, do it for the cause that's driving you, and you do it for the people who have always had that belief in you that you will go on and do something worthwhile and leave something which will last longer than you do.
Okay.
So, yeah, like, I think that is what I would want to share with whoever is listening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ankur Agarwal, for being here. It's an absolute honor to have you here, and you have given a whole new perspective on child education, and as well as you have motivated the young entrepreneurs of India. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Mahima. Like, the pleasure was entirely mine. It was a delight to be sharing what we are doing, and like, yeah, if anyone takes away anything positive from this, it would be worth a while.
Thank you so much. So stay tuned with us. The next week we have a new guest coming up in the show. Thank you so much.
Audio